Howdy, y'all. Last Pond Productions presents the New Way Podcast with Ben and Matt. This here podcast contains things not suitable for little critters, including city folk, sneakers, and Floridians. Listener desecration is plumb advised.
You are too much for me, ass. You son of a horse and a bitch. I wish I knew how to quit you.
You must be crazy. No, old spool. No, you see, she never loved you.
Ranch breakfast, champ's way to start the morning.
What did we eat? Oh, things are goner. What are you doing? It's coming out of me like lava.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Welcome once again to the New Way Podcast with Ben and Matt. I am Matt. Ben is off this week so that we could bring you our second installment in our Bandera, Texas series. This is, again, the Texas-sized podcast. So big, we had to split it into two parts. So big, yet still, if we can ever get the audio from Bandera Radio, we may even have a third section of the podcast, but don't hold your breath for that one. Today, you're going to hear a continuation with some of the people you met on the first Bandera podcast, namely Hoot Gibson and my mother, Mary Alice. This is where all three of us decided to get together and continue our movie discussion. And honestly, no introduction I could give you will do justice to the absolute radio and comedy gold you are about to listen to. However, there is one thing I can offer you to kind of get you in the mood for what you're about to hear. And this is something not a lot of people outside of the state of Texas have heard. This is actual music from Hoot's CD, Just Hoot, I reckon. If you want to purchase the CD, we can set you up with that. Just send us a message. But this is one of Hoot's songs called Mind Your Own Business. And as soon as the song is over, we'll get right into the interview, and then we'll come back to you to tie it all up at the end. So stay tuned.
Well, if the wife and I are fussing, brother, that's all right. Me and that sweet woman, we got a license to fight. Why don't you mind your own business? Yo, now mind your own business, yeah. Well, if you mind your own business, then you won't be minding mine. Oh, the woman on the party line, she's a nosy thing. She picks up her receiver every time mine rings. Why don't you mind your own? You know what? Mind your own business, yeah. Well, if you mind your own business, then you won't be minding mine. Well, I got a little gal that wears her hair up high. The boys all whistle when she walks by. Why don't you mind your own? What? Mind your own business, yeah. Well, if you mind your own business, then you won't be minding mine. If I want a honky-tonk around the 2 or 3, brother, that's my head, don't you worry about me. Just mind your own business. Oh, mind your own business, yeah. If you mind your own business, then you won't be minding mine. Well, minding other people's business seems to be high tone. I got all I can do to mind my own. Why don't you mind your own business? Oh, mind your own business. If you mind your own business, you'll stay busy all the time. All right.
Welcome back to the New Way Podcast with Ben and Matt. Hoot is crossing himself, which is probably appropriate since we're attempting a three-headed monster like Cerberus in Dante's Inferno. We're here today with Hoot Gibson. Say hi, Hoot.
Hey, how y'all doing this day?
And Mary Alice. Say hello, Mom.
Hello, Mom.
Hello, Mom. So, we kind of decided we wanted to get, this is only the third time we've done a three-person podcast here on The New Way, but we kind of wanted to get some differing opinions on movies and books together and mix it up, since I think the three of us might agree on a couple of things and disagree on quite a few more. But I think I wanted to kind of start with some questions and then kind of see what you guys think about your answers, the other person's answers. But, Mom, who would you say is the best working character actor out there today?
Oh, wow. Whew. Boy, you blindsided me with that one.
That's how we work.
There are so many. The lady from Bridesmaids comes to mind.
Melissa McCarthy,
Melissa McCarthy, I think, is wonderful. As far as men character actors, I might have to think about that for a minute, because there are just a ton of them.
Who do you have a favorite character actor? This can't be. You can't say Clint Eastwood because he's barely an actor. But you need someone that's a character, kind of that side role.
More of a supporting actor.
Yep.
Comes off of my top of my head, and I don't remember her name, but she was in The Natural as the woman that played the. What was her name?
I don't know. I haven't seen The Natural.
Are you talking about Glenn Close?
Yes.
Oh,
she's not exactly a character actor.
Well, she's a supporting actor.
I think you could. Well, she's not a supporting actor, but I think you could argue. I know when Ben and I did you guys haven't heard our podcast on character actors since it actually is airing today for the first time. But Ben's number one female character actor was Meryl Streep, which I completely agree with. That she is very much a character actress, even though she's a lead. She plays character roles. She's almost never the same.
I agree with that.
Why she's still working today, because her acting career has never been based on great beauty.
The other one that I'm thinking about now is in Rain Man.
Dustin Hoffman. That was on Ben's list as well.
That was super to me.
Yeah.
Definitely a character actor. Now, Hoot. Is there an actor or actress out there that almost makes you physically ill, that you can't stand them? Someone that, as soon as they show up on a movie, you want to turn it off?
Oh.
Nobody you hate on there? No one that
I'm not one of those persons that chunks rocks.
Mom is
I'll just be
hand,
quiet and turn them off, and I don't say nothing about who they are. It's, but I will tell you off the top of my head what I just thought of that I really do like, and she's gone, and I loved her when I was a kid, and she was an older woman, but that was Natalie Wood. I love Natalie Wood,
Yeah.
But as far as somebody I want to...
There's no one that you just dislike?
Yeah, I'll think about that for a little bit. I don't...
Now, before you answer, Mom, of actors or actresses you dislike, are there any that you know for sure from having watched movies with Hoot over and over again that he does not like?
He doesn't really base whether he likes something or not on the actor, because Hoot still struggles with what is real and what is acting. And so
Spider-Man real, Seabiscuit acting. I think that's right?
That's very close. Yeah. So depending on the role that they're playing, let's visit Brokeback Mountain.
I ain't watched it, and I was told not to watch it, and I ain't gonna watch it.
Why not?
Why not?
Because some friends of mine said, Hoot, that don't fit your bill.
But you haven't watched it.
Nope. And I trust other folks' opinion about me not watching that, because that doesn't portray really what I am.
Okay, so if you were watching that movie and you saw Jake, how do you say his name?
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal, And Heath Ledger.
The dreamy Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger.
The dreamy Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger, yes.
Two handsome young cowboys.
In that movie, you would have hated them. But you have seen...
Cowboys ain't handsome.
Okay, I tell that to Clint Eastwood, Robert Redford, John Wayne, all these non-cowboys.
I wouldn't
who have
call John Wayne handsome, but that's just mine.
No,
they ain't none of them handsome. Well, babyface Robert is a little bit.
Let me say this about John Wayne. I actually saw the man with my own eyes once, and he was all done up for a big awards night. He was in a tuxedo, impeccably cut. He was groomed to the nines, and I watched him, and all that came to my mind was one word, and that was elegant. Now, I have never been able to watch, well, there's hardly any John Wayne movie I've ever been able to watch.
True Grit.
True Grit is okay.
Or Magnificent Seven.
No. I don't like cowboy movies. I don't like war movies. The kinds of things that he became famous for I have a great aversion for. But anyway, it has, with Hoot, I think it has more to do with the role that they're playing. Because much as he loved Ryan Gosling, we watched that movie that you recommended where he's the getaway driver.
Yeah, Drive.
And he didn't like it.
Huh.
And I don't think he thought that Ryan was particularly spectacular in it either. So
it's not my favorite movie. I thought it was just kind of one of those that I suggested just because a lot of people were favorites of it. So
I want everybody to know something right now.
All right.
I'm not talking much. I'm more listening. And I'm not saying I disagree or agree with some of this stuff that they're yakking about right now, but I won't to just say I'll keep listening, but if you can have the revive of what I'm feeling without verbal, you better be getting in on it right now, because I'm just being nice.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what you were going for with that one, but I'm curious. So, obviously you recognize that movies are a fantasy medium, okay? Even if they're based on a true story, they're not, we know that Avatar doesn't exist, and we know that, even things like Braveheart have a lot of artistic license, but you won't watch something like Brokeback Mountain where it's not... You understand that there's no man that slings webs from his hands that's Spider-Man, even though he played a real person in another movie. Why couldn't you watch a movie about a love story just because it contains two men instead of a man and a woman?
Well, it's a matter of opinion. Some people, in its time, love Dr. Zhivago. And some people can't even, they detest it. So it's all a matter of, it's opinionated.
I agree, but you haven't watched Brokeback Mountain.
That's just because some folks told me, said, Hoot, don't you watch it because that ain't you part. And I ain't afraid of watching it. I just ain't watched it. That's all I know about that.
Well, there were 3 cases in Texas of cowboys that watched it that became gay after they watched it.
Well, I ain't gonna watch it for sure now. They won't get my $2 bill.
And of course, we know there are no gay cowboys.
None.
Like hell, they probably are.
See, this is what
you
I'm
might
saying.
even know one or two.
Sarcasm.
Well, I don't know them personally, probably, but they probably.
You don't think so?
Oh,
well, I don't want them to be, but that's not my call.
Yes, you do know some. But you.
Well, I know one horseman.
No, let's not get into that. We're not going to go there. But you didn't ask me what actors make
We're
me
getting
sick.
back to it. So what actors or actresses do you dislike?
Well, that I dislike.
Yes.
Okay. And going back, I just happen to think Stockard Channing is an actress I love. As people used to say to me, if Riders on the Storm was made into a movie ever, who would you want to play you? And without hesitation, I said Stockard Channing.
We're going to have Robert Redford play Hoot.
Well, Well,
Wrong. He's too damn old now.
Might have to age him up
We used
a little
to
bit,
look.
but
No, we used to look alike.
Okay.
We don't look alike anymore. He's too damn old.
Robert Redford is one actor that I find very difficult to watch in almost everything that he does because his hair is the star in every movie. Your grandmother, who wasn't a great film buff, but she watched that movie about Africa
Out of Africa,
and she said even Robert Redford wasn't too bad in that. Okay, so Robert Redford is off my.
Well, just one aside, and we'll get back to this just because it's one of my favorite stories about Grandma Marion. Was speaking of character actors, Grandma Marion's favorite sex symbol actor was Tom Selleck. And Grandma Marion had a poster
gave it to her.
in her closet of circa Magnum PI time and his short shorts.
Of the bedroom
and,
door.
Yeah, and it's in the closet, and her line used to be that he could put his shoes under her bed any night that he wanted to.
That's right.
So, maybe we get Tom Selleck to play you, Hoot. He's got
Selleck,
the mustache for
Well,
it.
I'm somebody to play me would be like, hello.
Be careful who you're about to say. Obviously, they're not happy with
Well,
you.
he's the lead in Quickly Down Under.
Oh, that's Tom Selleck.
I know.
It's horrible.
No, I liked him.
Or maybe Kevin Costner. You like Kevin Costner.
Well,
Nah, I like the stories lines.
no. You love The Postman, which is my nominee for the worst film I have ever had the misfortune of having
That's
to watch.
because you have no imagination.
It's because the whole thing makes no sense.
Well, just look at The Stand. I just read the book.
Exactly.
If the Postman, same damn crap.
That's the problem. It's a worse version of The Stand.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Much worse.
But both of them are still The Stand.
Well, it's the apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic world. You need to watch Book of Eli or The Road.
He's seen Book of Eli. The thing that puzzles
I like
me
that
is,
one.
Yeah, he doesn't differentiate between the Postman.
Chronicles of Riddick. That's another good one.
That's a great,
That's not
great
bad.
movie. They're
That's
making
not bad.
another one of those. I don't think you've ever seen the first Riddick movie, Pitch Black. I'll have to rent that one. That's a far superior movie, but it's horror. I don't know if you would.
Well, I don't call it horror. I call it, matter of fact, kicking somebody's ass and getting it done.
They're definitely smart. So, who is an actor, well, other than Robert Redford, that you can't
there's
stand?
so many.
Don't say Kevin Costner, because Kevin Costner is the unofficial sponsor of The New Way, one of Ben and mine's favorite actors working.
I have no words. All right, the next one on my list would be Tom Cruise, closely followed by Brad Pitt, who I did like in Burn
After Reading.
Burn
He's
After
fantastic.
Are you talking about the worst actor?
Yeah, he doesn't like. Yeah, who's the worst
and
actor?
I don't like Clint Eastwood. Now, mind you, let me clarify this. All of these people that I'm talking about that have had pretty frigging amazing careers, I respect them in terms of producing, some of their directing abilities, all of that. I just personally, when you see these pretty boy actors, all I can see is the pretty boy actor. And they strut around and, they're going to be a cowboy or they're going to be this. And yet there is nothing about their appearance that would suggest that. So I guess...
Yeah,
maybe,
but you can say the same about, why we got into our podcast about character actors was that idea of people that can disappear into a role.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
but there are plenty of good actors that can't do that either, Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks, great actor, but Tom Hanks is very much Tom Hanks in...
I would disagree with you on
I would say that Tom Cruise has more range than Tom Hanks.
I can tell you one person now that I think about it that I really, if I was going to identify my person with an actor, and that would be Bridges.
Oh,
Jeff?
for sure.
No,
yeah.
Jeff, you mean Jeff, not... Okay, Jeff Bridges,
Beau Bridges.
No, when he was playing the music and...
Yeah,
Crazy Heart. Crazy
yeah.
Hoot.
Crazy
Chris
Heart.
I call it.
That there is somebody... I could play that part real easy.
No, you could not.
I
I
could.
would disagree with you on that completely.
Why?
Because he has to show such a distinct change to the character in that particular movie.
I'd argue that I'll put this one out, and I'm a big Jeff Bridges fan and just about everything. But it seems, and one of my coworkers actually was someone that brought this up to me, and I didn't really have a good argument against it. But ever since Jeff Bridges played the dude in The Big Lebowski, he's kind of been playing the dude as different characters in different movies.
He said that.
Here's the dude as a country singer, and here's the dude as Old Tron.
Well, but now wait a minute. You and I were talking about actors, acting, and direction. Look at an actor like Jack Nicholson. He gets hired, basically, to play Jack Nicholson. John Wayne was another one. John Wayne was very seldom even allowed to act.
Except for that one movie where he played the Chinaman.
Yes.
Maybe the worst conceived idea of all time.
That was horrible.
His big buck teeth and slanty eyes.
Here's a perfect example for Hoot. If you're an actor, even if you're John Wayne, they tell you to do this is what you're going to do. But I think Jeff Bridges, absolutely. He himself said it. He said, I basically channeled the dude. Who doesn't love The Big Lebowski? Well, I don't think Hoot cared for it too much. I don't think that
great movie.
It's an incredible...
That was Hoot's unhappy grunt. Well, we can translate for the hearing impaired.
I just started reading the book. I've never read the book, and I've got about 20 pages in it now.
The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby. We're talking about the Big Lebowski.
Oh, it's okay. Go free form. I like this. We can go to The Great Gatsby versus The Big Lebowski. They're somewhat similar.
Well, it kind of sounded like one and the same to me.
somewhat similar. Well, and...
Wouldn't you love, just a second, wouldn't you love to have a legitimate actor, one of these very literate people, and many of the actors, I have to give it to them, a nod to them, because these people are far more literate than what the audience ever understands.
Some of them.
Well, the really good ones, I think, are capable of analyzing a character, but wouldn't you love to have... Well, really, back me up on that. I was listening to Leonardo DiCaprio talking about Fitzgerald and Gatsby the other day and how they went about doing certain things, and whether you like it or not, there was a great deal of analysis and thought that went into what they did. Well, of course
they're going to say that when it's a book adaptation. That's the other side of it, is that they kind of have to do that.
Matt,
all right, okay.
Matt, I want to ask you a question.
Okay, go for it.
How's your take on the Titanic?
That was an amazing non sequitur there. I think you want me to talk about the actual ship or the movie based on the ship?
We're talking about characters, I thought.
Okay, yeah. I'm just clarifying. My take on the Titanic, the ship, was it was kind of a mess because they didn't really plan very well. The movie, somewhat similar take of... I recently rewatched Titanic they did the 3D conversion. I watched that at home on the TV, mainly because, say what you want about James Cameron, and I'm not the biggest James Cameron fan of when we get to Avatar and some of his later... I mean, he's only done 2 movies in the last 20 years, Titanic and Avatar.
And then he obsessed on Titanic to
he's been making Titanic for 22 years now,
it's
again.
Like, enough with Titanic.
I kind of wanted to see if I remember the first time I saw Titanic, I hated half the movie, and I loved another half of the movie. And not because I care... because I dislike a good romance, mainly because I disliked their romance, which is Romeo and Juliet. It's the same reason I hate Romeo and Juliet. I think it's...
Who doesn't hate Romeo and Juliet?
Most people love Romeo and Juliet. They've been remaking it in different stories since it was first written. The problem I have with it is that I don't give a shit about... Pardon me for swearing. I don't give a shit about 2 characters who see each other... and think that the other one's hot, and by the end of it, they're ready to die for one another. It just never works. Even Kate Winslet can't sell that, and Kate Winslet can sell just about anything.
She's wonderful.
The movie technically is amazing. It looks beautiful. There was a really interesting discussion about Titanic, actually, that Ben disagreed with me quite a bit on, that it is, as of right now, the last real, mostly practical studio epic. One of these movies where you have 300 extras that come in and you're shooting on a set and you have everyone in period costume and things like Gone with the Wind and
those big epics.
And all of the, the 10 Commandments. They don't do a lot of that. Ben argued Lord of the Rings, and I said, well, yes. Yeah. Except that a lot of the extras in Lord of the Rings are CGI, although they did do a lot of practical makeup in there as well. I'm impressed by what Titanic does right, and I still dislike what Titanic does wrong. And, it is what it is. What do you think about Titanic?
I watched it once. And I started to watch it the second time and said, wrong answer.
I'd say that's something.
Okay, I'm going to bring up one more thing to you because you're pretty knowledgeable about all these kind of things, reading and doing what you do.
These are the easiest questions I've had. So
no, I'm going to give you another one that's still in the dark side. What do you know about 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, my favorite thing about 50 Shades of Grey was the article that Ben gave me, where they re-envisioned passages directly out of the book. Well, there's two great things that have come out of that book. One is Gilbert Gottfried reading passages from 50 Shades of Grey, which is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. And the other is this blog that they call 50 Shades of Ellipses, because there's lack of an excuse of a writer that put this stupid book together uses ellipses constantly to designate pauses because ellipses are the laziest thing you can do as a writer to overuse, because guess what an ellipsis says? Ellipsis says, I start an idea that I don't know how to finish, and I'm just going to put 3 little dots at the end. What's great is it reminds me of that moment from the movie Me and Orson Welles, where the one actor is talking about the blank space, where he says all the good stuff happens in the blank space. He says in these old novels, you have a man and a woman and they meet and they're all hot for each other and they're about to lay down in bed and then blank space. And he says all the good stuff always happens in the blank space. And
is that called etc.?
It's exactly the same things, etc. Yeah. I think 50 Shades of Grey is not as offensive as the Twilight series to me, but it's damn close because it's a lazy excuse for writing. And I don't like to see lazy excuses for writing rewarded.
Let me, in defense of ellipses, let me say that when I use it mostly when I'm writing conversation or dialogue, because people speak like that. They stop, they pause to think, and
it
gives a cadence to a character that maybe you can't replicate another way. Other than that, I agree with you.
You
got to give credit for people to have brains that you don't have to tell them everything. They ought to assume.
But if you're drawing a character, for example, one of the cardinal rules of writing, Mark Twain accepted.
Let's compare Mark Twain to the writer of 50 Shades of Grey. I would like to see how this one pans out. ...
Listen, one of the cardinal rules of writing is to not try to replicate regional speech. Like too many y'alls, I guess, is not a great
I would totally disagree with that.
Matt, there's a lot of words that I pronounce.
Look at Hagrid in Harry Potter, who is written completely regional with a specific dialect in Britain.
That's a British writer. So is the one of 50 Shades of Grey. And
she's not a writer.
She was a TV executive. She knows how to market, and I'll tell you what, from that standpoint alone, she stands at the top of the hill. Yeah. But
don't Don't bring Hagrid into 50 Shades of Grey.
I read all 3 50 Shades of Grey.
God bless you.
Well, the first one, the second one...
That's how come she's been acting funny.
Well, you know perfectly well that I did. I read them because I wanted to see what in the world this woman had done that created such a stir. And what she did was she marketed very smart.
She wrote crappy porn for women.
Yeah, no, it's not porn, it's erotica, but there's a difference. But if you want to read...
I'm going to agree with Matt on that one. And I hadn't even read it.
No, you don't know what... pardon me for saying so, but in this you really don't know what you're talking about. Again, I go back to Anne Rice. The Sleeping Beauty trilogy, which Judy Bryan, who you remember, she sent me an email with when all this 50 Shades stuff was going on. And I know women who loved it. I mean, they just ate these books up, and I'm like, what? But anyway, Judy Bryan said, I guess all these 20-somethings that are so verklempt over 50 Shades have never read Anne Rice's Sleeping Beauty trilogy.
Well, they're morons because it's just bad writing. I mean,
they are. It is
I don't
bad
mind.
writing.
I have no problem with
writing.
subject matter of anything if it's written well. I can get through it. But
it's very disturbing and disappointing to me as a writer that people eat up this stuff that is really garbage. I don't care about.
Hold on,
I don't care. I don't care about the erotica thing.
I got another question.
I've read far better. It doesn't have anything to do.
You're gonna do all the talking. You want me to talk a little bit.
Since you've never read it, go ahead.
God bless him
I
for
want
not
Matt's
reading it.
comments on 2 very successful writers, probably before his time, but
Please don't mention the guy that wrote Lonesome Dove.
But no. One writer is Zane Grey, and the other writer
who?
Zane Grey.
I have no idea who that is.
Western
Sounds like sangria.
And then the other one that is very successful is Louis L'Amour.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Lonesome Dove person?
No, that's Larry McMurtry.
Oh, I don't know. I don't read any Western stuff.
Larry McMurtry, all anybody needs to do is go look at what...
Well, I had a collection of all their whole writings of both those writers.
Cowboy.
And they were cowboys.
Very much. Well, no, Louis L'Amour, I would beg to differ because Louis L'Amour...
Well, he wrote one across the Himalayan mountains. It wasn't a cowboy thing.
He wrote one book. He is a monument to the concept of feeding the public what the publisher or the producer or whatever. That's how all this garbage gets out there.
That ain't garbage.
Well, it was garbage. Even to Louis L'Amour, it was garbage.
It wasn't garbage.
Well, then read up on Louis L'Amour. Same thing with Larry McMurtry.
Can I like who I want to without your dumb input?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Mom likes 50 Shades of Grey. So
I do not like...
She likes Brokeback Mountain, probably.
I like Brokeback Mountain.
I ain't seen it.
I thought Brokeback Mountain...
We're gonna do something unparalleled in the podcast. We're going to rent Brokeback Mountain, and we're gonna record Hoot's reaction to it live in real time and see what we come up with.
I predict that he will fall asleep before they ever get
No, I won't.
anything.
I'll be so damn pissed, probably I won't even like it.
I found it...
I want to shoot the TV with a shotgun.
It's a beautiful love story.
It's a beautifully
about 2 guys?
Well, there is a topless Anne Hathaway in it, so maybe that will help you out.
Yeah.
Shit!
I know, that's how they get you in there. They just they dangle Anne Hathaway topless for you, and then you watch
the Anne Hathaway that I seen with the little pick me hair and all that stuff.
Pig me or oh my god,
pick me hair. I mean, look like a little porcupine, on her head.
Stop.
Did he watch Les Mis,
yes,
by the way?
Yes, he did, but I don't
What did you think of Les Miserables?
Les Miserables.
I don't think I watched enough of it to stay in the hook.
You watched the whole thing. Almost all of it.
That's a long movie, I can understand.
It's a very long movie.
I must have had a 6-pack or something because I don't...
That's the only way to watch it.
Anyway, Lonesome Dove,
Amen.
if you want to ask me another question about something that I really hate... Lonesome Dove was the longest afternoon I spent in my life, and your cousin John handled all the Northwestern Mutual PR and advertising, because Northwestern Mutual actually paid to produce that. And he had 3, God help me, uncut versions that he used to put on, and it was like everybody, if he wanted to clear the room, he'd say, how about let's watch one of the versions of Lonesome Dove? Boom.
All right, well, we're running close on time, so I'm going to ask each of you one more question. I'm going to start with Mom. Hoot, you're going to get a similar one, so I want you to have some time to think about it. But Mom, if you were forced for whatever reason, you don't have to worry about what the reason is. Just know that this is your task. You have to have a romantic exploit with a celebrity of the same sex as you. Who would you choose?
Same sex?
Yes.
Good God, I can't even...
You're going to get the same one, Hoot. Hoot's already giving me a panicked look.
Because I was going to say the only...
If I was going to go do what?
The only celebrity that I know of that I would want to hook up with at all, and it would be in character, not the real person, would be Harrison Ford. A woman, I guess, you know what? Because I would find her fascinating to talk to, would be Meryl Streep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Because she's so well educated.
So, Hoot, you are forced, for whatever reason...
And I'm supposed to go out and have a good time with this guy?
Yes. A very good time.
Yeah, really.
That's easy. Hell, Michael Strahan. Ain't no way out of it.
Oh, my God.
I know I'd fit right in with something like that.
I don't even know where to begin with that one, but that was not what I was expecting on that. All right, well.
No, he's got it. He's,
Hell,
I know he's all man, and he's real, and he's a football star, and he's got lots of knowledge. He's got lots of everything. I know one thing, if we ever got in a fight, I'd have to outrun him. And then when he got tired, I'd turn around and beat the hell out of him if we got in a problem. But yeah, Michael Strahan.
A little lover spat. That's good.
I like that because I could hook up with Michael Strahan.
Since Mom answered, so if you had a female celebrity, who is your dream female celebrity?
No, don't take Michael Strahan for mine. Harrison Ford.
No. I'm just saying for Hoot. Hoot needs to have...
If you had a woman... oh, no.
Oh, Hoot's cell phone's going off. Mr. Technology.
A female person that I'd like to go out with.
Celebrity that you'd like to...
Yeah, I know.
And not Natalie Wood because she's dead.
Already shit-canned, I know.
I'm just amazed that you came up with Michael Strahan much faster than you can come up with the female. That's interesting to me.
No, because I know where he stands.
All right. That's behind you, apparently.
That's what Kinky Friedman calls the latent homosexuality of all cowboys.
Oh, boy.
A woman person? A female?
A woman person.
A feminine?
I know it's hard to think of them as people, but yes. A woman person.
Actress.
Living.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Not Marilyn Monroe. You can't have Marilyn or Natalie. It's got to be somebody that's alive.
I'll let you have Lucille Ball. That's the only dead one I'll give you. No? Okay.
Who?
Lucy. I love Lucy.
Oh, I like Lucille Ball, but...
All right.
She's gone.
Come on. You watch a million movies. Who do you like?
Well, all right, I'm going to be truthful.
Uh-oh.
When I watch female, I like to see tits and ass, kind of, you know.
There we go.
But I like brains to go along with it.
Okay.
Jennifer Lopez. Wait.
Part of brains involves Jennifer Lopez.
What was the woman that was the judge?
Maggie Smith.
Oh, no.
What? Quick.
American Idol? Was it American Idol? Was it...
Paula Abdul? Or Jennifer Lopez?
No, Paula.
Paula?
I think. But that would be somebody that I could kind of spend...
Well, you could certainly take her to the bar.
Yeah, but you Paula Abdul...
Well, I don't know them all that good. I don't have to worry about crap like that. That's a bad question.
Well, everyone out there, we're gonna be tying this up, but I just want to leave you with the visual of Hoot, Paula Abdul, and Michael Strahan out at the chicken coop in Bandera for maybe the most entertaining evening you've ever seen. Anyway, we thank our guests for joining us out here on this rainy day in Bandera.
Ah, you crazy son of a poochies.
I know. This is The New Way with Ben and Matt, and we will talk to you next week. Cheers.
Oh, my God.
Well, folks, there you have it. That was the second part in our Bandera super-sized Texas podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will try to get more of Hoot and my mom on the podcast as we can make it technologically sound. I think there is a wealth of material with the two of them. As we leave you today, we're going to send you off to again the dulcet tones of Mr. James E. Hoot Gibson doing a cover of My Bucket's Got a Hole in It. You heard it here first on the New Way podcast with Ben and Matt. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cause my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Well, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Well, I went up on the mountain. I looked down in the sea. Saw the crabs and fishes. Honey, they was doing what you and I had oughta, because my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Well, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no beer. Well, there ain't no use, honey, in me working so hard. Cause I got a woman, woo, in the boss man's yard. Cause my bucket's got a hole in it. Yeah, my bucket's got a hole in it. Well, my bucket's got a hole in it. I can't buy no soda pop. I can't buy no beer.